Hi, soulmates. Welcome to class. So, this is the outcome of the previous video I posted on how to draft the design we saw on the thumbnail. And after showing it, this is what I got. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. The back of it, we have the zipper at the side where we have our dot line instead of the center back. And I used lace material with the black material for the cape. Okay, isn't it looking beautiful? So this video is on the sewing aspect of it. If you would love to see how it was put together, very easy. Once you draft it, it's easy to do. So this is our pattern, and I've used the pattern to cut on all the fabrics that I'll be needing: the main fabric, the lining, and the stay. Okay, adding my seam allowance, I added half an inch all round except the sides where I added 1 inch for stitch allowance. So each piece has the fabric, the lining, and the stay. The fabric, the lining, and the stay. Okay. This also, I'm going to be cutting a light wording for the upper part, the bust area, right? So this is wording and it is very light. So I'm going to use the side to show us how to cut the wording. I'll place it on the underbust. Okay, once I place it on the underbust, I'm going to use either my chalk or my pen or whatever marker I have to trace it out this way. Now, I'm not going to take it all through. I'm going to stop about 1.5 inch and then I'll trace it without the fabric. Okay, so once you have something like this, you're good to go. All you have to do is to cut it out like I'm doing. If the other part is just the same as this part, you can just use it, turn it the wrong side and cut. This has a fusible, like it has a gum that you can use to gum it to the fabric, but you have to gum this after gumming the stay, right? You don't gum it before the stay. Now I'm also going to cut the center front like so. You're also going to place it on the underbust, right? And then trace it out. Now while tracing out, remember not to include the neckline. You can come down by half an inch or even 1 inch so that when you're joining the lining to the neckline, it will not be too bulky. It's not always nice when it is bulky. If you have some doubts, you can use the other part which you've traced to know where you're going to be stopping the marking, okay, so that everything will align together. But even without it, you can still make do with what you have, knowing where your neckline is. So once I have that trace, I'm going to highlight it more and then I will use my scissors to cut it out. I hope you enjoyed the drafting part of this video, and this is the sewing part. In case you've not watched the drafting part, which is the most important part, please go to the previous video before this to watch the drafting part of this video. It is quite necessary. So once we've done that, this is what we have. Now I'm going to use my iron to put it together, but the iron might not do much if I do not add a hemming gum to it. Okay, so this is my hemming gum. I'm going to be cutting it in pieces. After cutting it in pieces, I'll be adding it under the wording like this on all of them, so that once I have my iron and placing it on it, it's just going to gum as fast as possible. Like I said, this wording has gum, but it doesn't gum so much, right? And you don't want to use that kind of hot iron that will burn your fabric before it gums really well. So that's the need for the hemming gum, to help stick it together and it will not remove so easily while you're joining it. So after that, I'm going to join the centers and every other part. So right now I've joined the center. Okay, I've put them together with half an inch, and then I went ahead to join the back as well. Nothing serious, just to fix the pieces together according to where they are supposed to be. Okay, now I also joined the lining separately so we can have a very good or neat finishing on the side of the center front. You can see the way it is. So this is how I'm going to be placing it, but that will be after putting the cape together. So the cape, I joined it at the shoulders, the front and back cape, before cutting on the fabric. And then I'm using a lace to turn it, so the outside is going to have a lace and the black fabric is going to serve as the lining. Okay, so once I have this, I'm going to use the lace to turn the main fabric so the lace stays up. Now before this, I'm also going to identify where the shoulder is by giving it a notch, so that when I remove the paper, I'm also going to know where to fix the shoulders, the shoulder cape of the shoulder, or the shoulder cape, whichever, however you choose to understand it, the shoulder of the cape to the shoulder of the main fabric. Okay, so I'm going to put a notch there, both the up and the lower part, before removing the paper. And then I'm going to be turning the outside of the cape to finish it up. I'm only using the lace and the black fabric which I'm using to turn it. I hope this makes sense to you. I know you understand what we're talking about. So I'm trying to finish the edge of the cape, right? Like this. I'll put it together. So at the outer edge, turn it after ironing, and then sew it to my fabric. I hope this makes more sense now. Okay, so I'm going to use my pin to put it together before going to the sewing machine to join it, and then iron it before attaching it to my main fabric. Okay, so that is what we are going to be doing. So like, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please kindly do so. This is the other side. I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we are heading over to the sewing machine. Of course, you're not going to head over with me. I've shown you what I'm going to be doing, and that is what I will do. Okay, so I've used my pin to put it together. Let's go and sew. So this is what we have. Like I explained, after joining the cape, I used the lining to turn it. Now my lining, I did not get a very good lining, and it affected my sewing kind of. The lining frays so much. So the more you cut and sew it, the more it frays and is ripping inside. Okay, so I had to just manage to fix it. Right now we're going over to the lower part. I'm going to be cutting out 1 inch from the lining. I'm going to cut out 1 inch from the base of the lining, so that when I join it to the main fabric, it's not going to be showing out, because at this point the length of the lining and the length of the fabric is just the same thing. Okay, which is not supposed to be. If I join it like as it is like this, it's going to be showing outside when I wear the clothes. So I'll cut it by 1 inch and then join it to the main fabric, iron it, and it will be very good looking. So measure 1 inch right round and cut it out. Okay, so like I was emphasizing, if you've not watched the the drafting aspect of this video, you might not really understand this part. right? So just click on the link and watch the video on the drafting and you'll be good to go. So the 1 inch is going to stop at the lower part. I'm not going to be cutting on this part, but you can choose to cut half an inch out, but I did not do that. I'll just use my iron and make sure that it does not come outside. The lining does not show outside. Okay, so we're now going to head over to the sewing machine as usual, turn it this way and join them together right round, including the opening, the 4 inch that we have on the slit. Now that is done, and the next step is to fix our zipper. You can see how it is after ironing, so beautiful. And on no account should the lining show outside because we've pushed it inside. You can see it's looking so beautiful. So I'm going to fix the zipper now. I'm going to fix the zipper now. Fixing the zipper, I'm not going to be doing a complete sealing. I'm just going to fix the zipper and then I'll use my serger to weave it. Okay, this is the outcome of what we have. This is a step-by-step video on how to put this blouse together. Now the last thing we're going to be doing after this is to fix our sleeve. Okay, so for the sleeve, I'm also using a lace fabric for the sleeve and it's going to have a slight slit at the top of it. Now, first of all, join the sleeve itself, put it together before attaching the armhole to my blouse. Okay, now while fixing this, you're not going to touch the cape, you're just fixing on the main armhole, right? The same thing applies to this part. I believe that we know how to cut the sleeve. We have link on how to cut a basic sleeve and this is just the basic sleeve. So this is the outcome. Now my cape on this part is quite small. You can make yours to be wider. This is as a result of how it was drafted. So if you want yours to be wider, you can make it bigger while drafting it and adding seam allowance while sewing so it does not become small. You can see that the zipper is by the side and the sleeve also has a small pleat at the top of it. Yeah, and this is what we came out with. Tell me how it looks in the comment section. Please endeavor to drop a comment. What do you think about this? Is it worth it? Thank you so much for watching. Bye.